Great. And we're going to start by looking at some problems in declarer play, in particular about questions about whether to duck early on or let the opponents win the first trick. And let's start with this one here, where you open 2 no trump. That's a balanced hand with 20 to 22 points. Incidentally, the EBU rules about announcing bids now say that you don't need to announce a 2 no trump bid, but you should still announce a point range of the 1 no trump bid. So I noticed that was a recent change. Anyway, so you open 2 no trump, your partner raises you to 3 no trump, and the opponents lead a spade, the 3 of spades. And we'll start off as normal in a no trump contract by counting our top trick. So I think I've got 1 spade, 3 hearts for sure. I'm missing the ace of diamonds, but I've got 2 clubs. So I start off with 6 definite top tricks. And obviously I'm going to go after the diamonds to set up 3 tricks there. I may make some others as well. But let's suppose you decide to play low from dummy, the 6, and East plays the queen. And I've got the first pole of the afternoon, which is what are you going to play from the south hand, the ace or the 10? So have a little think about that. And here comes the pole. And the question is, what you're going to play from the south hand, the ace or the 10 of spades. And it's fairly even, but 60% went for the 10 and 40% went for the ace. And let's have a look. Well, you may be thinking in this situation that it's right to duck, and it sometimes is. But this situation is different because you have the 10 and the jack. And if you play, we'll look at how this goes played different ways. But if I bring up the 4 hands, what I should do on this hand is play the ace, because I have the 10 and the jack left. That will guarantee me a second stopper in spades. In fact, if I click on the GIB button, you can see that those of you who chose to play the 10 are in danger of being defeated by 1 trick, whereas if you play the ace, the computer says you can make 2 over tricks. So sometimes it's right to play low, but not here, because you've got the 10 and the jack. And if you beat the queen with the ace, that will now set up another trick for your side. So of course, you're not going to play the spades, you're going to play the diamonds. And let's suppose your opponents take their ace at some point. If they now play the king of spades, they can win that, but they've set up your jack. So whatever happens now, you'll make the jack, and you can then go back to cashing your remaining tricks. And you'll take your heart tricks. The hearts actually divide favorably for you. So at the end, you'll also make the 11th trick with your 5 of hearts. What would have happened to the 60% of you who played low? Well, let's replay this hand. So after the queen is played, if you play the 10, they're going to carry on in spades, knock out your ace, and now you don't have any more spade stoppers. So now when you play the diamonds, West is likely to go straight up with their ace, as they can see they're going to defeat the contract by cashing the king of spades and taking 2 more spades. Declare is going to make the rest, but East-West have made 5 tricks there. So do watch out for that kind of situation. Let's rewind it just to show you the hands. And of course, what was the important thing here was that you had the jack and the 10. And if you beat the queen with the ace, you're guaranteed a second trick there. Let's try a slightly different one. This time again, you're in 3 no trump, and they lead the 4 of hearts. Now, it's not quite clear what the right card to play is from diamond, but let's suppose you play the 5, and they win that. They play the king at trick 1. I've got the second pole here, which is what are you going to play from the south hand, the ace or the seven? The ace or the seven of hearts? End the poll there. And have a look at the results. And 3/4 have gone for the seven, and 1/4 went for the ace of hearts. So let's think about this. Well, the question you have to ask yourself is, based on the lead, the four of hearts, and the play to the first trick, East playing the king, who do you think has the queen of hearts? And the answer is almost certainly West. West has led presumably their fourth highest heart, their best suit, and leading a low card presumably means they have an honor, presumably the queen or the queen and the 10. And you will do best here if you beat the king with the ace. If you do that, can you see that your jack of hearts is now protected? West presumably has the queen, so whoever gains the lead at some point and then leads a heart, your jack will be protected, but only if you win this first trick with the ace. Again, if we count our top tricks, we started off with 2 spades, 1 heart, and 4 clubs, and we're going to make our contract by playing diamonds, but the danger is letting the opponents in and then being able to cash hearts. But just see what happens if we correctly beat that one with the ace. We might cash our clubs to start with. There's no reason not to do that. We may put pressure on the opponents. And at some point, we're going to play the diamonds. And West is going to get in. It doesn't really matter who gets in here, whether it's West or East, because if they play a heart, your jack is protected. The only high honor is the queen. The queen and the 10 are still out, but your jack is protected. So here West wins it, and the best they can do is to cash the queen. But whatever happens now, you can get back in and you will be able to take your diamond tricks, and you've got a good heart at the end as well. So played that way, you should be able to make 11 tricks there. So those of you who decided to play low were wrong on this occasion, and the clue is the lead and the play to trick 1. Let's just replay this and see what happens if you let the king win. Well, they'll carry on in hearts, force out your ace, and now similar to the first one, your jack of hearts is now not going to make a trick. So whatever you play here, again, you might start by cashing your club tricks, but when you turn your attention to diamonds, they're going to get in and they'll be able to defeat you by taking the queen of hearts. And played that way, again, you won't make 3-no trump, and your defender will be held to, the declarer will be held to 8 tricks then. Do let me know if you have any questions on that. So do watch out for that kind of thing. Trying to make deductions from the opening lead and the play on the first trick. And here it works out best not to duck. Take your ace, because it will lead to the jack being a second trick there. Let's try another one. This time we're playing in a suit contract, and we open a weak 2 hearts. There's a 3 diamond overcall, but North jumps to 4 hearts, and the opponents lead the king of diamonds. And in a suit contract, we're going to start by counting how many potential losers we have. So we're going to count losers from the point of view of the south hand, but taking into account all the strength in dummy. So have a little count of how many possible losers you have there. And in a moment, I will launch another poll. And the question is, how many losers do you think declarer has? Okay, let's have a look at the results. And it's a fairly even division between 3 and 4. 55% said 3 and 45% said 4. Well, let's switch back and see what we think. Well, in spades, we don't have any losers. We've got the ace, king, queen. We're missing the ace of hearts, so that's one loser there. And in diamonds, we could potentially lose 2 diamond tricks. And we've also got one possible club loser. When the time comes in clubs, we're planning to lead low towards the king jack, and maybe we'll get a trick there if the ace pops up, but we could certainly lose 1 heart, 1 club, and 2 diamonds are possible. Now, those of you who said you might only have 3 losers, you might have been thinking that you might only get away with 1 diamond loser. And there are different ways that could happen. But one way you could try and avoid a diamond loser is by roughing it in dummy. And that is indeed what I'm planning to do on this hand. If I can rough a diamond in dummy, then I will only lose 1 diamond, 1 club, and 1 trump. So that's going to be my plan here. All right. Now, let's suppose I win that first trick with the ace of diamonds. Now, because I want to rough a diamond in dummy, I'm not going to draw trumps. What I'm going to do is actually play a diamond back. I'm going to play a diamond. I win the ace of diamonds, play a diamond back. But if I do this, the opponents are going to get in. And I think no matter what the opponents are, who they are, they will presumably realize what I'm up to, that I'm playing diamonds now because I must have a diamond or 1 or more diamonds that I want to rough in dummy. So if I bring up the 4 hands, West here, having won the 10 of diamonds, must surely realize that what they need to do is draw trumps. There are only 2 trumps in dummy, so the right strategy for the defense here is to play the ace and then the king. And now I've got no trumps in dummy in order to rough the diamond. So whatever happens now, let's suppose I play a club. I'm going to lose that club. And then if they play a diamond, they're going to win that one too. And they've won 4 tricks there. There's nothing I can do now because they've already defeated the contract. So was there a better way to play this? Well, in this situation where you are planning to rough a diamond here, it can be a better option to actually let the opponents win the first one. What you're hoping is that they carry on in diamonds and then you're able to rough that 3rd diamond. Now, not all defenders will cooperate because some of them will think, I've won the king there, and maybe declarer has some diamonds that they want to rough in dummy, and they may decide to draw trumps anyway. But I think you're increasing your chance that the opponents will go wrong and will carry on in diamonds if you let them win the first one. So it's probably a better strategy to duck the first one, win the second, and then before touching trumps again, lead that 3rd diamond. We may as well rough high just in case it was going to get over roughed. And now we've succeeded in roughing the diamond. Now we'll just draw trumps. Okay, whatever happens now, well, they play a club, we might try the king or the jack, whatever it is, it gets defeated by East can beat that. And if they play a club back here, we can rough that one, draw the last trump, and now we can make the last 3 spade tricks, and we'll make our 10 tricks there. So this was a difficult one for declare. Your only good chance, other than being able to discard the diamond on a winner perhaps, but the good chance of roughing a diamond is if you make the obvious play of playing the ace of diamonds and then playing another diamond, then almost every West will realize what you're up to. If you let them win the first trick, maybe they'll carry on in diamonds. Although really, I think if West wins a king of diamonds, he should probably switch to a trump anyway. Seeing that shortness in dummy and only 2 trumps, there's a possibility that declarer has some diamonds that they want to rough. Okay, so that was a situation where it probably works out better to play low on the first diamond, win the second, and then you're in the ideal position to rough. Let's have a look at another one. This one is being played in 3 no trump. Again, you open 2 no trump and your partner raised you to 3. And let's have a little think about this. They leave the jack of hearts, so we'll stop to make a plan and stop to count our tricks. We've got 1 spade for sure, 3 hearts and 2 diamonds. And we've got 1 top trick in clubs. And obviously we're hoping on this hand to make as many clubs as we can. And what we need to do is think about how many clubs we have. We have 6 in dummy, 2 in our hand. So the opponents have 5 clubs. And if they're divided 3-2, we're going to have to lose 2 clubs and be able to get to dummy. So the first key play here is, of course, to win that in your hand. You're keeping the Queen of Hearts as an entry to your clubs later on. And then we're going to start on clubs. And if we leave the 10, we need to lose that trick. We don't want to win the first trick. In fact, if I bring up the 4 hands and click on the GIB link, you can see that although you can make your contract if you play your ace here, you can make possibly 2 over tricks if you let them win the first trick. So we're going to lose that one. Let's suppose they carry on in hearts. Again, we're going to, sorry about that. Again, we're going to win in with the ace, so we keep the queen. And now we're going to play clubs again. This time we can win this one because we can force out now the last club, which they win, but we still have the entry with the Queen of Hearts. So whatever they play here, we can cross to dummy and cash our club tricks. We'll play another club and play that last one. So that's 8 tricks we've made. We're now going to lead a spade, and you might be thinking about finessing. The finesse will work here. On the other hand, if it were to fail, they would get in and be able to cash a heart. So maybe don't finesse. You've done a good job anyway, and you'll just make your 10 tricks played that way. Okay, so that was an interesting one. You really need to not take the first trick, and you were lucky that you had enough stoppers and enough entries to dummy, as long as you keep that Queen of Hearts there. Okay, let's end with this one here then. And this is one where you open 1 spade, and here North-South are playing Jacobi 2 no trump, which is a good convention. It gives up on the natural meaning of 2 no trump in response to one of a major, and uses 2 no trump to say, I've got enough points for game, I've got a fit for you in spades, and you describe your hand. So 2 no trump there is would be artificial, and if you're playing that system, South should alert it. But South has got a minimum hand and just bids 4 spades. South's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losers and only 11 points. So you end up in 4 spades, and the opponents lead a heart. They lead the 6 of hearts. And again, I'd like you to start by counting how many possible losers you have. So have a look at the North and South hands, and how many possible losers do you have altogether there? Here's the last poll of the afternoon. Let's have a look at this. And most of you have gone for 4, 78%, with a smaller number saying 3 or 5. So let's switch back and see what we think. Well, in spades, I'm not expecting to lose any tricks there. I've got 10 trump, but I've got a heart to lose. And in diamonds, I may lose 2 diamonds. So depends where the ace is, but I could lose 2 diamonds, and I could lose a club. So I've got 4 possible losers there. obviously one thing I'm going to try and do is set up the clubs. And even if the club finesse loses, and I lose to the queen of clubs, that may set up a trick on which I can discard. So let's have a look at this. Let's suppose I play the 8 from dummy, East plays the king, and suppose you make what you might think is the automatic play of the ace there. Let's see what happens. Let's suppose we now draw trumps. So we draw one round, and you could just draw trumps again, but let's suppose you cash the ace of clubs. You're doing that just in case the queen is a singleton. It's not. So you draw that last trump to return to your hand, and now you play a club. And the right play here is to try the finesse. So you play the 10. That loses to the queen. And of course, based on the play at trick 1, you now expect East to play a heart back to their partner, who wins the second trick. And if I just bring up the 4 hands at this point, you can see that West has just got in with the queen of hearts, and West has a very automatic switch now to a diamond. There are no more hearts in dummy. Doesn't seem like clubs is the suit to go for. So they would automatically play a diamond here. And now your king of diamonds gets trapped. And whatever happens here, the opponents are going to take those 2 diamond tricks. After that, if they play another diamond, you can ruff, and you'll make exactly 9 tricks on that one. So you can see the diamonds were not favorable for you, and you lost 2 diamonds. The clubs were not favorable, and you lost a club there, and you lost a heart. Is there anything you could do better on that one? Well, let's have a look at this played slightly differently. They lead a heart here, and you might automatically think you should play your ace here. But if you do, you should realize that what actually happened when we replayed it is quite likely to happen. If you play the ace, draw trumps, and then play the clubs, the club finesse will lose. East will then lead a heart back to West, and West will automatically switch to a diamond, trapping your king. So is there anything you could do better than that? Well, yes. What you can do is let them win the king of hearts. Because East is now on lead, your king of diamonds is protected. And there's nothing that East can lead now that will allow them to take 2 diamond tricks. So if they carry on in hearts, now you win the second heart trick. And now, let's suppose we play as before. We start drawing trumps. We might cash the ace of clubs to see if the queen drops. When it doesn't, we come back to our hand, draw the last trump, and try the club finesse. The club finesse loses again, but because you ducked the first heart, East now cannot get back to their partner. So the best they can do is, I might try a club, but Declarer wins that one and can cash a king of clubs and can discard a diamond. So now they only lose 1 diamond trick. So now Declarer will just play a diamond. They can try the diamond finesse leading to the king. That loses, but then Declarer makes the rest of those tricks. So that was quite a tough one. It basically involved sort of thinking ahead what could go wrong on this hand if the club finesse loses, they will switch back to a heart and then be able to play diamonds. And the solution is there to duck the first heart, and then they can't get back to the West hand. It involves realizing that the hand you want to keep off lead is West here, because if West leads a diamond, your king of diamonds is trapped. So quite a tough one there, but the solution is to let them win the first trick. Anyone have any questions about any of those?